Let's explore the database insert operation in this video. So what we are going to do, we are going to create a new account record through our Apex. So we are not going to do that from our UI like this. What we will be doing, we will be creating this account directly from our Apex without any UI involved. So let's go back to our developer console, and here first let's open our anonymous window. So since we are inserting the account record, we need to get the accounts API name. We already know that accounts API name is account itself. So either you can cross verify it from your object manager like this. So here you will see that API name is account itself. Or if you are not sure, then you can always come to the object manager and get the API name from here. So we need to get the API name of the object, which is account. And then we need to create a new instance of this particular object. So let's say if I want to insert a new account record, then I'll use my account API name, then a variable name, and then I'll use my new keyword to create a new instance of account. And this is something that we have already seen when we were creating the instance of our Apex classes. Now in this statement, we are just creating the new instance of account object. What about the field values? We cannot directly insert this new instance in our database. We first need to assign some field values, and especially the field values that are mandatory. So if you go to your accounts object manager, you need to get all the fields that are required to create an account record. The easiest way to find it out is just from the UI. When you click on this new button, you will see this star mark about the mandatory fields. So I think we only need the account name to create a new account. The rest of the fields are optional, but we will assign the account name and phone value through Apex. So you can assign these field values in two ways. The first way is to define these values directly in our new instance here within this parenthesis itself. So if you want to give it a name, you will simply use your field name like name. And this should be the actual API name of your field. So here we are using the field name instead of the field label. And if it is a custom field, then you need to get the API name of that custom field as well, like active_C. So let's give it a new name, maybe like SFDC Facts Academy. Then you can use your comma to define another field's value, which can be like phone. And we can give a phone value as like this, and this is our new account record that we can insert in our account object. So let's quickly see how we can insert this account record, and you will be surprised to see how easy it is to insert this new account record. What you need to do, you just need to write this keyword called insert, and then after that your object, which is ACC. So that's it. When you write this insert keyword, Apex knows that you are trying to insert a new object record. If you click on the execute button, we should be able to insert our record. And from our debug logs, we can cross verify that. Let's filter our debug logs and write a keyword here DML. So this is going to show us all the logs where this DML keyword is printed. So we can see that number of DML rows that we have inserted is 1. So this means our account record was created. We can cross verify it with the help of SOQL as well. So let's get all the accounts, maybe like account name and ID from account object. And if we'll execute it, then we will see our SFDC Facts Academy account created just now. Or you can also see it on your UI as well. Let's click on all the accounts and let's scroll down, and we have got our SFDC Facts Academy right here. So this is how we can insert a new record. Let's also explore another way to assign the field values. So let's say if you don't want to do it like this, or maybe if you want to add more fields after your instance creation statement, then you can totally do that. Let's come to a new line, and you can use your variable like this and then a dot operator, and then the field name. For example, let's use one more field from account object. Let's use rating, and we can use it directly here. Again, this should be the API name of your field, and then let's give a value as hot. Let's also change our account name this time so that we get a unique account again, and then let's change the phone number as well. Cool. So let's execute this again, and we should be able to insert our new account record. So I'll simply rerun my SOQL query, and this time we have got 15 rows, and we have got our CLR Infotech right here. If you want to fetch the rating as well, we can get it, and this should be hot. For CLR Infotech, it's hot. So this is how you can insert a new record in any of your standard or custom object. You can either use the field values directly in your instance creation statement, or you can also define them later on, or you can use a mix of both. And this insert statement, it doesn't only support one single account object record, it also accepts a list of account record as well. So this means instead of having one single account record, if you would have a list of accounts, you can simply use that list of accounts with the insert statement as well. Let's quickly do that as well actually. So I'm going to quickly write some code here, and I'm going to build an account list, and then I'll use my insert statement to insert all these new accounts. So here I've got 5 different accounts, and I'm going to create a list of account as well. And I'm going to add all these accounts in my accounts list. Accounts.add acc1. So here I've added all my accounts in my accounts list. If you want to avoid creating the account instance first and then adding it, you can directly copy this statement and paste it inside your add method directly, because again it's going to create an instance and then going to add it to your accounts list. So it's up to you. For simplicity's sake, we are going to create our instance first, and then we are going to add those instances using our add method. So now we have an accounts list, and if I want to insert all these test accounts, then maybe I can directly use my insert statement. And then instead of passing one single account record, I'll pass my accounts list. And then let's actually remove or comment the previous code so that we don't insert a duplicate account record. And now let's execute. Let's first filter our logs with the DML keyword, and this time it says the number of DML rows is 5 out of 10,000, and our DML statement is still 1. So we have executed our insert statement only once, but we have inserted 5 different records using one single insert statement. We are calling it only once, but we are inserting 5 different records. And to verify it, let's execute our SOQL query again, and now we are getting 20 rows, and all our test accounts are right here. So this was one way of creating the account records or any standard or custom object records using Apex. Apart from using this insert statement, we can also insert these accounts or any of the records using one more method that is available for us in Apex, and this is called database.insert, which again accepts either one single record or a list of record. So you can directly pass your list of records here, and let's see this method as well. So first I'm going to comment my insert statement so that we don't end up creating the same accounts again and again. And I'm also going to delete my existing test account records so that we can cross verify that our new accounts are created. So I'm going to select all these rows and then I'm going to click on delete row. So this is going to delete 5 different rows, and if we run our SQL query again, our result size came back to 15 because all our test accounts are deleted. So now let's execute this new code where we are using database.insert method, and let's see the result. Again, we are able to insert all our 5 records, and if we run our query, we should get 20 records again with all our test accounts being created. So these were the 2 ways to create the new records or to insert the new records in Salesforce object. Now you must be asking, what is the difference between this insert statement or using this database.insert method? The difference is, when you are using this insert statement, and if any of your account fails to insert, maybe because of some validation rule or maybe because of some invalid data, then all the other accounts will also be failed. So the complete transaction will be rolled back. So if any of these 5 account records fails, then all 5 will fail and you will not see any of the single record. But you can control this using this database.insert method, which also accepts one more parameter after your record list or a record variable, and this other parameter is of Boolean type, which is called all or none, which means if you set this all or none variable to true, then either all of your account record will be created or none will be created, which is the same behavior as insert statement. But if you set it to false, then all the successful account will be created and the failed one will be disregarded. So this way, let's say if one of your 5 account fails, then you can still insert the 4 of the records and only 1 record will fail. But if you use this insert statement, then all 5 will fail, even if one single account record has invalid data. There's one more use case of using this database.insert method where it returns all the successful or failed records. So you can actually get the result from this method and you can see which of your account record failed and what was the reason behind those. In the Salesforce world, you will see both of these statements being used everywhere. So it's up to you or up to the use case that you have in your hand, which of these statements that you want to use. If you want to report on the failed records, or if you want to allow partial success of your DML operation, then you have to use the database.insert method. Else you can either use the insert statement or the database.insert method as well. So that was the main motto of this video, but I also want to continue this video to actually create a account controller class where we will be having all the helpful method to manage our account object. So I'm going to create a new Apex class and I'm going to name it as account controller. And in this Apex class, I'm going to have some helpful methods. The first method that I'll have is to insert a new account record. And so let's name our method as public static, and this method is going to return a list of account that it is inserting. So I'm going to use my list of account as the return type, and then let's name our method as insert accounts, and it's going to accept a list of account as a parameter which we want to insert. So that should be it, and it's going to simply call the insert statement on this list, and then it's going to return this list back again. So this is our first method. Let's save it. The second method that I'm going to have here is to get all the account list. So let's call that as well, public static list of account again, and get all accounts. And I'm going to copy paste the code here that we have written in our SOQL in Apex video. So let me copy that. So this was the code that we have written in that particular video, where we were retrieving the account list first and then we were printing it. But here it's all about getting all the accounts. So I'm simply going to return my list right here, and I'm not going to print it. So let's delete this code. Now the third method will be to print these accounts. So instead of get all accounts, I'm going to use a method print all accounts, and this method is going to internally call the get all accounts method to get the list of accounts. So instead of executing this query again, what I can simply do is to call this get all accounts method. The reason why I'm showing this to you is that you can understand how your different methods can interact with each other. You have one method for one single purpose, to retrieve all the accounts. You have another method to print all the accounts, but this method is internally dependent on the get all accounts method to first retrieve all your accounts, and then it's going to print those accounts. So here I'm going to print my accounts using a for loop. So let's copy paste the syntax that we have deleted before. I'm looping over my accounts list and then I'm printing the value. And this method, it doesn't return anything because it's only about printing. So I'll use void as my return type. So this was my third method. And yeah, I think we are good. Actually, let's have one more method and we are going to call it insert account instead of insert accounts. And this is only going to accept one account record. And then we'll call our insert statement and going to return the same account. So let's change the return type as well. So this is our account controller class with 4 different methods. I can think of one more method here, and that is about getting the account list size. So actually let's declare one more method, get accounts size, and this is going to return a integer value. Again it's going to call the get all accounts method first so that we can get a list of account. So let's copy this, and then we can return accounts dot size. For now I think we are good, and we should be able to insert the accounts using this class, and we can also print all the accounts using this class.